Hello everyone, my name is Cindy Thompson and I will be discussing my service project. So, for my service project, I volunteered at the Griffin Center in East St. Louis. So, my responsibilities there were helping children with homework, as well as implementing various games and arts and crafts in order to get the children more socially involved with each other. So, as I was volunteering at the Griffin Center, I noticed some troubled individuals and came to the conclusion that adlerian therapy would be most beneficial to them. So, with adlerian therapy, an aspect that can be applied to children is their lifestyle. So, as I was talking to children, I kept noticing that they were saying the color black is considered bad and the color white is considered good. Two other aspects that can be applied are social interest and community feeling. So, although these were lacking, I noticed a pattern of discouragement with these children. So, with adlerian therapy, I feel they can develop a sense of connectedness, not only to society, but humanity in general. The fourth aspect that can be applied is birth order, as well as sibling and family relationships. So, I noticed that the children tended to act out, and most of them were the middle child. Some of them even told me they were the middle child. But so with this, the middle child tends to act out. And so it showed, obviously, at the Griffin Center through their behavior and actions. So with adlerian therapy, the relationship that will be formed will be a person-to-person relationship. So that will consist of collaborative work between a therapist and client. It will also be a mutual relationship with trust and respect, as the client and therapist will work together to achieve the goals. And the goals will be for the children to develop a sense of belongingness, so like I said, connecting to society and humanity, as well as developing a sense of awareness and increasing that, and also challenging or modifying any aspects of their life, such as their life goals. So the technique that will be implemented will consist of 4 steps. So the first step is establishing the proper relationship. So with this will consist of collaborative work, so working together, and the therapist will help the client recognize any personal issues, and from this, the client can explore new behaviors or even new thinking patterns in order to make about a change. So the second step that will be used is exploring the psychological dynamics. So with this, this will consist of 2 interviews. So the first interview is subjective. So this is when the therapist helps the client tell his or her life story as complete as possible. The second interview is objective. And with this interview, this will help the therapist discover any information on how the problems began, any precipitating events, or medical history, aspects like that. The third step to the technique is encouraging the development of self-understanding. So with this comes insight and interpretation. Insight can be defined as understanding something and transferring that into constructive action. So once the client recognizes the personal issues that they have, they can then take that into constructive action, so making a change. With interpretation, this can be defined as underlying motives for the way they're behaving. So children can come to recognize as to why they are doing what they are doing. So with the fourth step, this is helping the client make new choices. So this comes reorientation, and this involves shifting in the rules of interaction or the process or motivation. So when clients bring about a change, this may shift the way they interact with others, or may even shift things such as their levels of motivation. And with step 4, this not only encourages the client, but also challenges the client to take risks and make choices in their lives, and in order to bring about a new change. So a strength to adlerian therapy is that it is flexible. So with this type of therapy, it is integrative. So it uses an approach where a variety of techniques are implemented in order for the client to achieve his or her goals. A limitation, however, is that some clients may not understand the purpose of these techniques, or going through things such as the 2 interviews. So if they don't understand the full concept of the therapy, they will not be getting much out of it and therefore will not be successful. So this will limit the effectiveness of adlerian therapy to the client. So, with my service project, Sue's concepts of knowledge, awareness, and skill was implemented. So, with knowledge, I had to go into the Griffin Center with the knowledge of beliefs, feelings, and attitudes towards those of a different racial background. And I also had to have knowledge on the social impact and communication styles. So, I had to use a variety of communication styles and techniques in order to communicate with children and to keep their attention when I was talking to them. I also had to be knowledgeable about that race affects personality formation, minority family structures, as well as communities. And so, working through the Griffin Center and talking with the children, I not only was knowledgeable about it, but I also saw it too. With awareness, this is being aware that there are differences between others, not only between the children and myself, but also with the workers. And so I had to respect the differences and be comfortable with them. Also, with being aware, I had to be aware that negative reactions could take place, but that I could not be non judgmental. And I also had to be aware of the stereotypes that existed. So, with skill, I was engaged in verbal and nonverbal styles. So like I said earlier, I used a variety of communication styles, nonverbal, verbal. I played games with the children. I also talked, interacted with them in order just to find out more about them. And I also worked to eliminate any discrimination or bias that could possibly exist. Like I said, one example was that the black color was bad and the white color was good. So I worked in order to help the children with an understanding, and also just trying to eliminate that in general. And try to get the children to focus on, playing together, talking together, and just having a great time. So the APA ethical standards with informed consent. So I had to sign a document that was similar to informed consent. So it stated like the nature of a Griffin Center, such as the goals, as well as the responsibilities that the workers and volunteers have, and also confidentiality. So I couldn't disclose any information about the children or workers or anybody there. So the second document was my confidential document. So with that, I couldn't talk about any specific aspects of the children, any specific information such as their identities or their family. And I also couldn't post any pictures of the children or even the workers on any social media sites like Facebook, Twitter, Instagram. So with the Griffin Center, this taught me that I, as well as many others, are much more privileged and blessed than we think. So, for example, like the things that I use and implement in my daily routine, such as like a toothpaste, toothbrush, I don't think second twice about that. It's ingrained into my daily basis routine, and that's it. I don't think much about it. But to the children at the Griffin Center, that's things that they want and think about. So, like, one child told me I had white and pretty teeth. And I said, thank you. And the child said, I don't really have pretty white teeth because I don't get to brush my teeth very often. So that made me realize that things so small such as toothpaste, toothbrush, can make a difference in someone's lives. I take that for granted on a daily basis just because I don't think about it. But for that child, as well as many others, that's what they want. That's what they think about. And so what I've done, or what I'm in the process of doing, is making donations to the Griffin Center for the children. So I am getting together, toys, games, school supplies, even things such as clothes, shoes, and toothpaste, toothbrush, things like that, in order to give them. Because, like I said, that's what they want and that's what they need. And those are things that, sometimes I take for granted just because I don't even think about it. I don't take a second guess or a second look at it. And I'm also in the process of making personal care packages too. So, like I said, toothpaste, toothbrush, floss, things like that. So, that was my experience at the Griffin Center, and that is all. Thank you.